Alrighty, hey nerds, so it's time to take a look at the data mining that has been done because the Choose Your Legend update technically came out. The banner is not active for 2 more days, but we do know some pretty interesting things coming up in the next week or two. So, the first thing I want to say is a big thank you to the data mining community who continued to do fantastic work over on the Reddit. I'm going to, of course, leave a link to their thread on Reddit. Go send them kudos, send them, all sorts of thank yous. Chip Chocolate, Asian Crank, Happy Sad Person, bunch of others. They do amazing work, and I would really love them to get more attention. So, yes, again, thank you guys. Anyways, moving on from there, let's talk about the stats for units which seem to have leaked, or at least are able to be seen. So, first up, here's Lucina. As you can see here, pretty normal stuff, nothing too crazy. Pretty decent at speed, 36 speed. That's pretty phenomenal for a lance unit, honestly. I'm pretty happy with that. I like to think that it's going to be a fairly good lance unit, Lucina there. Pretty substantial defense, great weapon, great attack, great speed. So, yes, fantastic stuff. Next up we have Lynn, who is the first, who got first place in the Choose Your Legend thing. So, yeah, it looks like her stats are pretty much exactly what they were in the trailer. Jay was saying that he didn't think that was actually truthful, but it seems like they actually are exactly as they were stated in the trailer, and that means that she's either labeled as a trainee or she has broken the rules for BST with Cavalier units. Because technically she has more BST, or at least should have a little bit or on par with Bride Cordelia, who, of course, is an infantry, and they typically have that. Or she's labeled as a trainee for some reason, which is a little weird. Also worth mentioning is that Lynn here actually has an additional ability that was not spoken about, and that, of course, is Attack Smoke, which was the C skill, which if you paid attention during the trailer, you probably did notice this. Attack Smoke, and what it does is, after combat, it inflicts attack -3, 5, and 7 to foes around 2 spaces around the target you just used that attack on. So technically, she can. I'm not so certain how useful that's going to be, but that's -7 attack on foes who are around an enemy you're attacking, which that might be pretty substantial, especially since she's going to be a powerhouse as it is. In fact, I'm really amazed by Lucina and Lynn's stats here. They're phenomenal. That's just amazing. Moving on, here's our boy Roy. Our boy Roy, of course, has a lot of honestly, his stats are just as good in some ways. A little bit less speed than I would, like. That's still pretty phenomenal speed, 34. Attack of 51, HP of 38. Defense and resistance, of course, nothing too crazy. We saw that in the trailer. The one thing that we do need to note is that he does come with Desperation, from what we can tell. I didn't really talk about Lucina's because Lucina's only real ability is that she does, of course, get Aether. I think it's New Moon and Luna, of course, which are usually the follow-ups. So, and, of course, the Spur, Drive, whatever you want to call it, that ability. Seems Roy only has Desperation, which, of course, nothing too crazy, but still, there you go. Moving on from that, I'm going to have to remove Lynn here, because, of course, putting all of this in here is a little bit harder. Oh boy, I'm going to have to reposition Ike's little picture there, because that was not where I wanted it to be. But anyways, as you can see, here's Ike. He actually has 28 speed, so I guess that ability from Irvan will be pretty useful, as he will probably get doubled a bit. I mean, that's just how it's going to be, but still, 35 defense, 52 attack, 43 HP, and of course some decent resistance out of there as well, so he is not in bad shape either. I mean, with Irvan, it should at least get rid of some of the problems that come from getting doubled. I don't know how well he'll handle against quads, but we'll see, as the ability that he has from that axe is also pretty good. But we also need to mention the fact that Ike also apparently has an additional A ability that was not mentioned in the trailer as well, and that, of course, is Steady Stance. Steady Stance 2, and then Steady Breath, which the first two tiers of that are it grants plus 2 and 4 defense during combat when the unit is attacked, so it just boosts his defense even further. And then finally, Steady Breath is if the unit is granted, if attacked unit is granted plus 4 defense during combat, also gains special cooldown charge plus 1. So kind of, you know, I would say a reverse guard in a way, in that it doesn't, you know, I don't know, it's basically Heavy Blade if you get hit in a way. So that's nice. It's kind of cool. It's definitely a pretty useful ability, I think, as a character, and while it's not shown here, these characters, of course, are all going to be available. You get to have one free, which is always a nice thing. So, yeah, that's a lot to take in. Within the data as well, we can also mention that, of course, there is going to be, while Jay said, I don't know if this is going to happen, there is going to be a paralog, the 11th one, in fact, and that is, of course, focused around the Brave units, and since that happens, well, that's cool. That's definitely pretty nice, so at least some additional free orbs for those who need the orbs from it, which, pretty handy. There seems to be, according to this, that there, at least in the data, is that there is going to be a support system coming in place, according to the dialogue that is in the text right now with the data. It says, strengthen your allies through ally support. Allies who are partnered up will gain stat boosts when they fight near each other, and you can find ally support under advanced growth in the allies menu. So it seems we're going to be getting a partnered kind of system like Fates and Awakening, which makes sense. And then, of course, I don't think it's going to be like, you know, you get on top of each other, but it does seem like characters will have some sort of support system where, you know, as you do things, they'll talk to each other, they'll gain supports, you know, C, B, A, S, whatever you want to call it. But that means pretty interesting things. I'm wondering if this might lead to possibility of other things like children. That would be weird, but kind of cool. Still, nonetheless, thank you to Sad for that one, pointing that one out. Good job on the data mining community for this. Good lord, there's just so much to talk about. I'm just gonna pull up Lynn again, actually, real quick. So oh god, blah blah. So there's Lynn, all that fun stuff. Trying to find everything else that's listed here. No info and sacred coins apparently. Yay. Oh yes, also it seems that each hero has an extra turn line, and I'm really happy about Roy's because let's see if we can't play that real quick.
Roy's our boy!
Yeah, perfect. So that's pretty much all that is in the data mining right now, guys. Outside of course, the banners that we already knew about, you know, all that fun stuff. Choose your legends, the voting gauntlet, you know, dialogue for every characters, and all that fun stuff. But a support system's on the way, apparently. Neat. Voting Gauntlet, of course, starts the 31st, I believe, or I could be wrong. I think it's the 31st, actually. Let me take a look-see on my game. Oh, boy. Oh, and Narcian's back, I guess. Yeah, that's right. I forgot to mention Narcian's back. Oh, yeah, because everyone's really worried about that, aren't they? Anyways, yep. That starts on the 31st as well. So, we have a lot to look forward to, guys, and a lot of interesting information has sprung up over the last few days. So, personally, I'm looking forward to Lynn, I'm looking forward to Ike, I'm looking forward to Roy, I'm looking forward to Lucina. All of them seem to be pretty fantastic, and I'm really excited for all of it. I hope you guys are ready for everything to come. It seems we're going to be getting a lot more Fire Emblem staples in the mobile game, which is always a plus. So, yes. Hope to see you soon, guys. Love you all. Bye.